What is up, guys? Zan from Playbook.gg, and I am back with our Madden 20 Wishlist series, this time going at it solo. And today we're going to talk about making pocket quarterbacks matter again in competitive Madden. Before we dive into this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of the great tutorials that we've got headed your way here on the Playbook.gg YouTube channel. Okay, guys, so welcome back. Now, again, I'm by myself. Normally, I would be with AntCap to bounce ideas back and forth with this, but for this video, we're going to discuss a topic over the top of the Madden Bowl Championship between Spoto and Drini. Now, something that has been in my mind recently over the last few years has been how prevalent pocket quarterbacks have been in competitive Madden. You go back over the last few years, you start to think back on who the popular quarterbacks have been. Well, of course, the most recent couple of years to probably 3 or 4 years, to be honest, have been MUT-oriented competitive Madden. So we're getting a lot of mobile quarterbacks, guys like Michael Vick, guys like Lamar Jackson this year. In previous years, we have seen Marcus Mariota, Michael Vick again. We've seen guys like Terrell Pryor out of position at quarterback several years ago. We've seen basically mobile quarterbacks at all points over the last 5 years or so. You want to go back a few years before that, we're talking about Colin Kaepernick and Russell Wilson. The last few years of the regs being the competitive mode that everyone played on. Before that, Aaron Rodgers, he was very popular. Michael Vick, when he was with the Eagles, was very popular. You go back, Josh Johnson was popular when he was with the Bengals. He was a popular mobile quarterback. Tim Tebow was somewhat used in addition to mobile quarterbacks. Vince Young, Jamarcus Russell, Bruce Gradkowski. The last time you really can go back and point to a pocket quarterback that was the most popular quarterback in the game would have been Madden 2008, when it was all about having Tom Brady and Phillip Rivers. You also had, I believe, a number of other quarterbacks that were on good teams that year in Madden, but it was primarily pocket quarterbacks. Guys like Tom Brady and Phillip Rivers were the meta. Obviously, you know, Tony Romo, when the Cowboys were popular there from 09 through 11, he was a mobile quarterback at the time. And you just think about it. And the reason that mobile quarterbacks have always been the most popular choices in Madden is that two-way ability, the ability to make plays with your legs and the ability to make plays through the air. Now, this has kind of led in recent history to players starting to kind of get upset in competitive Madden when their quarterback misses wide open throws. You start to see guys airmailing wide open touchdowns. And as a result, EA brought in thresholds. Those are things that were designed to help give quarterbacks consistency in the pocket when you had your feet set, when your pocket was clean, there were no free rushers around you, your receiver was open, you weren't pass leading, and those things were fine. However, the thing that we've noticed more often than not in most years of Madden is the ability for you as the quarterback to scramble backwards, prolonging the play, and make throws from ridiculous angles. You can kind of see right here, actually Spoto's doing a good job with his pocket presence, just kind of staying there in the pocket and trying to make his read. But typically speaking, in competitive Madden, the game is very much so about max protecting, blocking 6 or 7 guys to protect your quarterback, and then rolling out deep and still being able to wait and make accurate throws as the coverage breaks down because you're so far behind the line of scrimmage. You factor in the fact that salary cap has been a contribution to this as well. You start to think about how in salary cap, most guys spend their cap on their offensive players, your receivers and Vic, or the receivers in Lamar Jackson. And then typically speaking, you're playing budget on defense. This allows mobile quarterbacks to really dominate the game, whereas the pocket quarterbacks that are cheaper cap really aren't that viable. And I think that kind of goes to a different topic. So while pocket quarterbacks not mattering are a topic that I want to talk about, I think that there's multiple culprits. We talked about how being able to scramble backwards and make accurate throws with quarterbacks is one reason that a lot of players use scrambling quarterbacks instead of pocket quarterbacks. But here's a reason that people do not use pocket quarterbacks. They don't use pocket quarterbacks because, let's be honest, pass protection has been pretty bad over the last few years. You get players that have had secure pass protector abilities that, really don't work that well. You've got a secure pass protector ability, and, there have been blitzes over the last few years that basically make it so an edge rusher's free, so it doesn't matter if you have a secure pass protector. We've had, secure pass protector supposed to work, but guys instant block shed or instant disengage or instant win, whatever you want to call it, they're instantly getting to the quarterback, and that's an issue as well. So the offensive line, not only from just a flat out block the guy in front of you standpoint, isn't very good, but we've also had a severe imbalance in Ultimate Team. So you take a look at Ultimate Team, which is where competition is played right now in competitive Madden. You start to think about things like, okay, why does my 93 pass blocking lineman get beat so quickly, so consistently by a 93 finesse move or a 93 power move player? And of course, there are different ratings that go into it: pass blocking power, pass block finesse. Obviously, we know those things, but just kind of breaking it down in layman's terms, you see that, offensive linemen do not create stalemates nearly enough. Another thing, people use pocket quarterbacks typically when they know that their pass protection is great, but when you can't trust your pass protection, you're going with the scrambling quarterbacks. And to compound that, a lot of players are going to start in the shotgun. Think about the last time you saw a great under center offense in competitive Madden win a championship. You have to go back to stiff, and realistically, it was more so about the fact that it was compression and the fact that you could take shots one-on-one that year, more so than what he was doing under center. He was in an under center tight slots. But if you go back, there's not too many years where you are able to run an under center offense because the pass protection breaks down. It degrades so quickly in Madden. You get guys that instant win up the middle and can sack your quarterback within a half second of you snapping the ball because they just can reach the quarterback so quickly, or interior lineman blows their assignment. Again, that kind of goes back to a number of things. Pass protection is so important, and people trust it more from formations like bunch and trips tight end, where they're in the shotgun 5 to 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and you also have the factor of being able to see guys disengage in front of you, and you have time to react. Under center, you're closer to the line of scrimmage, and when those guys instant win, they're going to be on top of your quarterback right away because you're under center. Now, if you have a pocket quarterback, you're in even worse trouble. Whereas if you're under center, there are people that run under center offenses with these quarterbacks and scramble straight back at the start because maybe they like the route combination or the run pass threat, that dual threat of being in an under center offense where you can throw. Quick pass game is better under center. You can run left or right with a single back formation because your running back isn't to the left of your quarterback in the shotgun like you see right here. There are a number of reasons people like those under center offenses. However, they have to run with a mobile quarterback so they can run straight backwards to get far enough back behind the line of scrimmage that when the bad pass blocking in this game breaks down, they have time to react and scramble to a different area. So guys are already bailing out of the pocket if they are running under center offenses right away because they don't trust their pass protection. Even when their pass protector ratings say, you know what, you should trust me. I'm going up against a guy that has worse pass rush moves than I have pass blocking. You can see how this is very frustrating for players in the community. If you're not a player that doesn't run, if you're a player that doesn't run bunch or trips tight end, you're placing yourself at a severe disadvantage just by choosing any other formation. And then you compound that by, if you don't want to have to use a mobile quarterback, if you want to use Tom Brady, or if you want to use Dan Marino, or if you want to use any of the great pocket quarterbacks in the game, you're putting yourself at a huge competitive disadvantage. Now, of course, Madden 20, I believe they've already announced some things that they are going to try to do this year. I don't know if those are rumors or not, but I feel like I heard a rumor about icons disappearing. That's already great news in this realm, because if you scramble backwards, you should not be able to see your icons 20 yards behind line of scrimmage. I mean, take example, this play right here. Ball is on the 31. Nothing against Drini. He deserved to win this game. But I mean, if you're going to scramble straight backwards 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and your drag is now technically a 20 to 25 yard throw just to get it back to the line of scrimmage, you really should have no business being able to complete passes to receivers, whether it's a corner route, a post route. You know, these are 50 plus yard throws after some of these guys scramble backwards. And they're turning their backs to the wide receivers. Now, I understand it's a video game. You have God view. I don't want to sound like I'm a sim player or anything like that. I'm always going to be a player that's going to play the game that's in front of me and try the best that I can to be great at it. However, there are things that could add depth and realism to the game from a limitation standpoint of the quarterback. How many times have you seen a quarterback in real life scramble, turn their back to all their targets? They can't see any of their receivers, and then they turn around on a dime and throw. I'm not talking turn around, reset their feet, find somebody, and then throw it. We're just talking the quarterback is running with their back to the line of scrimmage, and you're because you have the God view, you can see for the quarterback and press a button. So long as you allow your quarterback to set their feet. You're scrambling straight back, you just take your hand off the controller, let him set his feet, and you time your throw so you get an accurate bullet pass that you're stepping into. That just doesn't happen in the NFL. They've got to take measures to obviously improve the pass rush when people are scrambling straight backwards. Now, not to the point where obviously the minute you hit the right trigger, people disengage, because that's something that's in the game this year. We all know if you hit the right trigger to sprint behind the line of scrimmage, defensive linemen will just disengage. And if you go to scramble with your quarterback and step up in the pocket too, sometimes you'll see guys disengage as well, which brings me to my next point. If you're a pocket quarterback, you need the ability to slide around the pocket. Guys like Tom Brady have impeccable footwork. They know the ability where they need to slide, what landmarks in the pocket. They know how to step and shimmy and slide. It kind of goes to show that, they put in some in the pocket mobility moves with the right stick where you can flick the stick up, left, right, back to kind of do those moves in the pocket, but those weren't really that great. So what it did is it put us in a spot where pocket quarterbacks don't really have the ability to get out of the pocket cleanly. Because the moment you hit that scramble button to try to run somewhere, somebody's just automatically going to disengage almost regardless of what their pass rush ratings are. These are just small things that they can tune to help improve pocket play. Now, obviously, if you're going to have a pocket quarterback, we've already talked about X factor types and things like that. It's important to give pocket quarterbacks things that would entice you to use them, whether that's extra routes for slot receivers, extra routes for the outside guys. Whatever you want to do, you've got to give depth to the wide receivers to allow you to, have a different route tree. That's going to be really, really important. And that's definitely something that they've talked about, I believe, as well this year with those X factor traits. So it's nice to see them taking the steps, but I think that this is only the beginning. You're going to have to still find ways even still to allow us to play with pocket quarterbacks. A guy like Tom Brady should be insanely more accurate than Michael Vick. And right now, players just can find ways to chem up Michael Vick above threshold and not have to worry about accuracy. And I used to be a player that was big time. I'm talking big time on the guaranteed outcome bandwagon. I used to think that if you have a guy open, your feet are set, your pocket is clean, that Vick should just make the throw. But it's gone a little bit too far. And that's absolutely no fault to EA. I'm not going to sit here and blame EA for that for a second, because that was us in the community that complained for that. But me personally, I'm not very, very big on guaranteed outcomes for players. There needs to be a certain weakness to a guy like Michael Vick. And if you're not going to give him a weakness because you can out-kim those weaknesses, then a guy like Michael Vick should cost a lot more towards your salary cap. I think that's been something that a lot of competitive players have said over the last few years. If you want to open up this game so you don't see the same teams literally every single time, make Michael Vick cost like 20-25% of your cap. Make him cost an insane amount to the point where putting Vick on your team means, hey, this is Vick, but then the rest of your team is hurting for it. If you're going to get that advantage, then you need to be able to pay for it somewhere else. And of course, that's only talking salary cap. I go back to some of the best years of competitive Madden that I personally have witnessed. Definitely games like Madden 08 was phenomenal. I think a lot of players like Madden 10 that year. I think that tournaments were really popular. Now everybody has a different opinion about the game, and that's great. And I think that's why I want to do this series, is to open up to your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on this. But I definitely think that some of the best years of competitive Madden were years where Vic was not in the game, or he just wasn't a factor. That's not necessarily me saying EA needs to get rid of Vic, but I think a lot of people in these comments will say, yeah, I'd love to see something other than Vic next year. I don't think EA is getting rid of that cash cow anytime soon, but I just think that from a standpoint of competitively, you need to either make us really, really pay for a guy like Vic if he's going to be OP, or you need to start to add weaknesses to the point where it enters our mind where it's like, a pocket quarterback who's going to hit all these throws, a pocket quarterback that can shimmy around the pocket, a pocket quarterback that can give different abilities to his receivers instead of a scrambler like Vic with none of those abilities. At least make us think about it, because right now we don't have to think about it at all. If you're playing Madden this year at any type of level, you're probably using a mobile quarterback, whether it's, Lamar Jackson in salary cap or Michael Vick in salary cap. I mean, I host Friday Night Football a lot, as does Bugs, as does Nick Mazesco. And the only quarterbacks you see are Vic and Lamar Jackson. And personally for me, I think that's something that they should definitely work towards rectifying that situation sooner rather than later, because I think a lot of people seem to think that the game plays the same every year, and if you're going to allow competitive those scrambling quarterbacks on competitive to just do whatever they want and still have the benefits of making all the crazy throws, it's going to be the same thing next year in terms of the meta. Now, of course, it remains to be seen. This is all feedback off of Madden 19. Of course, I'm just predicting. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys give it a thumbs up if you did. I'd like to hear your thoughts and concerns about the game. What would you like us meaning Ant Cap and myself, he'll be back on the next wishlist video. What would you like us to discuss? If you guys have any thoughts, drop them in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck. If you like this video, check out one of the videos on your screen right now. And for more in-depth analysis, visit www.playbook.gg for detailed game plans written by pro Madden players. Master the game with playbook.gg.